The award was just $1, but for Taylor Swift and her fans and women everywhere, her court victory over the DJ who sexually assaulted her sends a much more powerful message than money can buy.
Jill Stanley is an attorney and founder of Proof with Jill Stanley, and she's here now to talk to us about the case, what's next, and the impact. Thanks for coming in, and let's start with this DJ, David Mueller, who is saying he's going to appeal and he's willing to take a lie detector test.
Yes. So, bad choice by him if he moves for an appeal here or files for an appeal. Why is that a bad choice? The evidence was very strong here. The testimony from Taylor, even before in her depositions, very, very strong from her mother. His filing an appeal is just a bad choice. And I don't think he's going to do it for really one main reason, and that is because it's very expensive. Yeah. And who is going to take this case at this point? The evidence is super powerful. And the polygraph test, that is nothing. Polygraph's results are not acceptable, not admissible in the courts of Colorado. So he can talk about it all he wants on every talk show or anyone who will talk to this man who now really wants to be heard. But the results from polygraph are inadmissible in Colorado. So they're not coming in anyway.
Why do you feel like some folks just throw that out there? Like, hey, I'll just take a polygraph test. Do you think that they're actually willing to do it? Because like you had mentioned, it would have no standing in court, so what's the point?
Some courts it is admissible. It really depends. It depends on the kind of case that it's in. But as a general statement, the Supreme Court itself has said, we really don't find them scientifically supported. This is not such a... We watch TV and we think, oh, polygraph means everything, but it doesn't. And why is he going out there? Because it brings him sympathy. And we start to think, well, if he does pass a polygraph, then really he must be telling the truth. He's just trying to garner sympathy with it. But it's not going to help any case, and it certainly is irrelevant on appeal.
Where do we go from here with this? You know, a lot of people have talked about how Taylor Swift, such a powerful person, and yet it took her having him file suit against her to come forward and say, hey, here's what really happened. Does this give strength to other women who might find themselves in similar situations?
I'm really glad that you say it that way, that you've couched the question that way, because what happened here is she was groped 2013. She really did not call the police. She didn't do anything about it. She tells her mother, her managers, whoever were at the scene that night and said what happened. She continued on her duties professionally, not disappointing any of her fans and really putting on that brave face. The next day they call, they say, hey, here's what happened. And it was the station who made the decision to fire. Nobody asked for his firing. No one asked for a police report. So she really didn't do anything. She was going to do nothing. It was only until he sued her for slander that she said, you know what, I don't think so. You assaulted me, and I'm going to fight back against you and file a counterclaim. Mueller could have gone away very quietly. He brought this into the public forum. He is the one that let the world know about it. And so when I see that, it actually makes me sad, because you think of someone as powerful as Taylor Swift did not even feel comfortable enough to report it to police and or to go forward with it even further in a civil suit. She only did it in response to him. So I do hope this is a message to other women who have been in this situation, because it's a hard one, because we look at someone who is as powerful as Taylor and she doesn't do it. So how are the rest of us supposed to feel comfortable enough to go out there and make this kind of claim when we know it's going to be a he said, she said? I mean, we had a picture here and we're still arguing about he said, she said.
And by the way, we should mention, because I think we might have shown that picture, that was a picture that TMZ acquired and they've put out there. So we've all been able to see a key piece of evidence in this case.
Yeah, it was a very key piece of evidence. And I think anyone looking at it and looking at it from a body language type of study would have to say this is pretty damning evidence. But it was her testimony that really, really brought things home for her. She was perfection on the stand, and that is where the power in this case comes from. And that is where other women should get that power and understand, I'm going to be heard if I try to be heard.
All right, Jill, thanks so much for the insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks a lot.